Hello! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been, gano'n na ba katagal yung last, video ko? Parang 6 months
Seven,
na ata, oo.
isang taon na.
Hindi naman isang taon, siguro 6 months. Pero yung nakita nila ako, 1 year na. So baka na-miss niyo ako. Wow, na-miss. So, I'm back again. This time, hindi po unboxing. I would like to do something that is much more closer to my heart, which is basically helping people out there who might need help, especially in answering questions in line with questions asked during their interview and application, specifically in a contact center or call center. So for those who actually doesn't know, I'm actually part of the HR team. I have worked with several or couple of organization. A few are call centers. In fact, I started two BPO companies in the Philippines. I was employee number one. I hired everyone in the organization. And I was actually quite intrigued doon sa isa sa mga Facebook group where I'm a part of, where one member asked the members if they have received a difficult or if they were asked a hard questions in one of their call center interviews. And actually, ang daming nagsagot, ang daming nagbigay ng comments and feedback. And really, the questions that were asked are quite difficult and really is a challenge. Kahit sa akin, kahit ako nag-iisip, bakit nga ba tinanong yung ganung question? Parang hindi naman parang related. However, related or not, it was still asked, and I'm here to hopefully assist and guide you on how to answer questions, difficult questions in a contact center company, and hopefully would help you in the future. So by the way,
So, ba't nandito kami ni
this
Thor?
this is my favorite Tor.
Si Thor ba yung sasagot ng
Si
tanong?
Tor sasagot yung tanong. Ayan, hawak-hawak ko siya kasi kanina ang ingay-ingay niya. Kaya ayan, hug-hug na lang. Tapos, this is my husband, Rafi.
Hello.
There you go.
Ba't ako nandito?
Wala lang. Joke. Hindi siya HR. Pero, hopefully, he will have some comments, some feedback about the questions. He's IT, by the way, so I'm sure itong mga question na to, hindi pa niya naririnig sa tanan na kanyang buhay. Wow!
Ay,
Tanan na kanyang buhay.
nag-call center naman din ako.
Oo nga, para yung una mong trabaho. Anong kumpanya yun?
Convergys.
Convergys. Ako dati nag-call center din ako! F. Ayan, Convergys. Sige. Ikaw, nung Convergys ka, anong pinaka-difficult question na na-receive mo?
Technical kasi.
Okay. Never
Technical
mind.
din yung
He likes technical.
Oo.
Ako,
So,
nung kasagsagan na nag-a-apply ako, kasagsagan na nag-a-apply ako nung first job ko. Many years ago, huwag nang bilangin kung gaano katagal. Uso pa noon yung pronunciation. You must know how to properly pronounce words. Tapos yung before ka pa interviewin, parang you need to read out loud an article. And if they're not happy with the way you pronounced things, then baksak ka. So, that was like parang nagsisimula pa lang noon yung BPO or yung call center in the Philippines. So talagang they're very hypercritical sa pronunciation. And I remember the way that they pronunciation because I failed, number one. And at the top of my head, no, it will not fit me. Because number one, they should have just told me that the way that they want me to read an article is just like before, when the late Miriam Santiago would pronounce and enunciate words, ganun naman pala yung hinahanap nila. Hindi nila sinabi sa akin. Akala ko magbasa lang pala, yung pala dapat may accent. Wala naman akong accent. Pero okay lang yan kasi hindi talaga sa akin meant maging call center agent, I guess. So that's why binaksak ako nung kumpanyang yon. And I was
anong company yun?
Hindi ko na alam eh. Pero alam ko nag-apply ako doon sa Libis. Sino
Sa
sa C5?
Libis?
Oo, sa Libis. Sa Libis, and then may isa pa sa Makati. Ayan. Tapos, sa pagtato ko, ay hindi para sa akin. Kahit naman madadala ko, hindi para sa akin talaga ang contact center. Di ba? So, kaya napunta ako dito sa HR. Nakasalta naman ako, pero at least wala na pronunciation. Ayan. So, anyways, eto, very interesting to ha. Natawa ko nung nabasa ko yung comment. Ang tinanong sa kanya is, how to sell a used underwear? O, plakak! How to sell a used underwear daw?
So, parang kinukumpara nila, umbaga, yung company nila
Sa used underwear. Diba?
nagbebenta ng used underwear.
Ew!
Yeah.
Ew! I think,
Okay.
I think kaya nila tinanong yun, yung how to sell. By the way, guys, kapag a-apply kayo, number 1, basahin niyo yung job description. Alamin niyo, ano ba yung ina-applyan niyo, ano ba yung account.
Baka naman taga-benta ng used underwear
kaya
talaga
nga,
yan.
diba? Kung talagang ina-applyan mo, ay taga-benta ng used underwear, edi dapat, before ka pumunta doon sa interview, nag-practice ka kung paano magbenta ng used undies, 'di ba? Kagaya sinabi ni Rafi, 'di ba yung first job mo is technical. Kaya para sa iyo it's not
Puro
hard, it's
technical
it's
yung,
technical. So I should know how to answer technical questions. So ganun 'yon. Alamin niyo muna ano bang account yung ina-applyan niyo, nasa job description niya normally, para, you can anticipate what will be the possible questions that will be asked. Alright? So in this case,
siguro pag tinanong ako ng how do you sell used underwear,
yeah.
aalis na ako.
Yeah. Wag naman.
Hindi technical yun.
Kasi nga, technical yung na-applyan mo. Siguro sa'yo, ang tanong sa'yo, how do you troubleshoot? Ganun. Pero I guess ito, ang ina-applyan yung job is magbenta. So, guys, ang mga tip ko dito para...
ng used underwear?
Yes, ganun yon. So, ang tip ko sa inyo dito, guys, para malaman nyo kung ang ina-applyan nyo is an outbound selling account. Yun na ha. Ganito yung mga terminologies. Outbound. Call center. Cold calling. Ayan. Normally, yung mga ganitong word, pag kinabasa nyo yun sa job description, it's a hardcore selling. Magbebenta kayo ng produkto. So, I would assume this is the reason why the question was asked, how will you sell a used underwear? Because normally, if you will do cold calling, what will happen is they will just give you a list of names with contact number. You will call them out of the blue while they're busy, and you will basically entice, encourage, budol-budol, budol-budol them to buy your product. So, dapat kayo, kahit hindi nyo gusto yung product nyo, dapat mabenta nyo yun. So, I guess, in this case, ang ginawa lang ng recruiter is used underwear. Kasi syempre, mahirap magbenta ng used underwear, diba?
Tama ba yun to begin with? Well, I guess it's a job, no? I guess it's a job at the end of the day. Pero kasi, kung hindi ka believe dun sa produkto na ibebenta mo, diba?
O sige, para madali na lang,
paano?
hindi use underwear. How will you share, ano yung internet mo bagal ngayon?
Internet, lahat sila mabagal. PLDT? Globe, PLDT? Ano?
Ayan. Siguro pero dito, ako siguro the way that I will sell it is number 1, believe in my product.
Yun nga eh.
Gusto mo ba ng panty na madumi-damit? Well, look no more. Here it is! Panty na madumi para sa'yo. Now, how you will use it, you don't have to tell me. But, here you go. No judgment. Diba? So, I think, pakita nila yung passion on that product that ikaw mismo is believe. And that's how the recruiter will judge you. Right? So, I think that's my recommendation on how they will answer this. Passion.
So sige, siguro at the end of the day, you need to grow that passion din sa product ng company.
Exactly. So, that's what they're assessing, di ba? Are
Pero
you compatible?
you still have to have a certain degree na nababack mo yung product, di ba? To a certain extent, you can't just really push a product na talagang wala ang kabilib-bilib. Well, well, I mean, siguro kung talagang ang inuutos lang sa inyo is talagang manloko ng tao, right?
Grabe ka naman. Hindi mo sila
Hindi naman
naloloko.
sa, I mean,
May kinukusin mo sila ng mga information na hindi mo alam at nasa fine print. It's your responsibility
oo
to
nga eh.
read.
Pero to be asked a question din, 'di ba? Hindi ba nakakapag-alala yung product?
Yeah.
To think na ang ipapagawa sa'yo is how would you sell used underwear? Ganun ba kapangit yung product ng company na yun? Na talagang alam nilang hindi ka mabibilib dun sa produkto nila.
Hindi alam nila mabibilib sa produkto nila eh. Baka yung recruiter lang talaga to.
Mahilig sa underwear.
Mahilig sa underwear yung recruiter. Take note, used underwear.
Hindi naman sinabi ko saan ginamit eh.
Hindi naman sinabi, oo. Kaya ikaw talaga judger ka. Malay mo yung panty, pinapulos lang na table. Ikaw yung judger ka talaga. Ayan. O, diba? O gusto niyo maging basahan. Di ba gusto mong basahan? Use underwear. Perfect. Alright. Yung next question that we have here, ay ito. I think almost everyone who has have experience. Wag ka mag-cheat. Wag ka mag-cheat. Who has had experience
Hindi ko pa nakikita itong mga tanong na ito.
One point in their interview would have heard or would have received this question. So yung tanong sa kanya is, why should we not hire you? Wow! Take note ha. Kasi normally ang tinatanong, ang normal dito is, why should we hire you? Pero this time, the question is, why should we not hire you? And this is actually, I like this question in a sense that, kasi tayong mga Pilipino, we rehearse. Before pa lang tayo pumasok, nasa utak natin, why we deserve the job, why we deserve the position, why we deserve the job offer. Pero sometimes, we don't, kumbaga, tinatago natin yung reason why the organization should not hire us. Diba? Yung iba dyan, hamper tuloy. Hopper. And this is true, unfortunately. May mga ganito talaga na isang buwan pa lang, not happy with the organization, lalayas na, or hindi kaya, ito professional hopper ha, magkukuha lang ng signing bonus, pagka nakuha yung signing bonus, wala na out of the face of the planet. Yung mga ganun talagang tao. Unfortunately, they're the ones who's creating the negative image. Na yung mga talagang legit, kung bakit sila short term lang sa isang organization, maybe it's because of their type of contract is affected. Kaya, some are better as a hopper na they're really asking why.
Pero, is it more of a question okay. So, is it asking kung ano yung like ano yung mga dahilan or mga personal qualities na hindi namin magugustuhan? Or is it asking like ano yung mga shady
both
parts mo?
Both. So, and the way you would answer is also depends on who you are as a person. Do you value integrity and honesty? Or do you value more, I need this job and I need to impress the person who is asking the question, diba?
Ako, I would just answer na because I'm too good for you.
Wow! Wow! Failed. Mayabang.
Can you even handle the truth?
This? Can you handle the truth?
Can you handle the truth?
Yeah, that is true. And sometimes there are people, especially in an organization, if they value integrity, they will appreciate that you will tell them the honest truth. Diba? Unfortunately, nagkaroon kami ng disagreement with the previous boss ko or whatever. I was not happy, etc. And
Pero,
there are really honest to goodness na parang negative answer, that you take negative answer na for an employer is something that they will appreciate. So siguro if ako for me, the way that I will answer, why should we not hire you? Ako, it will all boil down to, well, chemistry. So when I say chemistry, in any application, in any interview process, a recruiter will always endorse short-listed candidates for the final interviewer to interview. More often, yung mga shortlisted candidates will be 3 or 2, but definitely hindi ka lang nag-iisa dyan. So, if there will be one thing or one reason why an organization will not hire me, will be chemistry. I know I am confident for the position. I know I can do the job as what you have mentioned and as what I have discussed. But if the hiring manager will have more chemistry with another shortlisted candidate, then that's the only reason why you shouldn't hire me. Because I believe when you're hiring someone, you're not just hiring for the talents. Talents can be trained. Talents can be cultivated. But what you cannot train is the behavior and the charisma, the culture. If you think I'm not, then it's a win-win for both of us. That's how I will answer it. Yeah.
Ako, I don't think kasi parang pag sinabi mo, why would you not hire me? I would always think of a way to, alam mo yun, parang i-project yung benefits ko sa in the line of an interview. So I would always try to put out, even if it was a negative question, right? I would always try to put out yung or to emphasize yung positive traits ko, rather than to dwell on negative stuff. And even yung mga negative items like, bakit ka aalis? I don't think that's a proper question for it. Kasi, ewan ko. Yeah, it's just my opinion. Yeah. Talaga, pag ako tinanong mo, why should we not hire you? Because you can't handle the truth.
Anong movie yan?
Hindi ko maalala.
Ikaw na. I cannot handle the truth. Pero anyways, ito ba, isang interesting question. Actually, sabi dito sa nag-comment is, parang power tripper interview daw. Para sa kanya, kasi talaga na-windang siya. Tapos, yung iba, ayan, pa siya, na parang may, madali, although sabi sa kanya, madali lang yung sagot dyan.
Okay.
So, eto, wait, nagtanong sa kanya. Tanong sa kanya is, bakit bilog ang imbornal? In English, why is the manhole circle? Pero I think so. Ito lang, the reason why you're being asked this type of question is to assess how do you analyze a question, and second is of course always communication, right? And how will you answer that? So I think you're a technical guy. You know the answer. So sige, fine. For the benefit of our viewer, how will you answer? Why is a manhole circle?
It's the easiest way to build a manhole. You just get a drill. You put a hole in the ground. That's a manhole.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
So, is it a power trip question?
No, it's not.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the interviewer genuinely asked the question to understand your train of thought.
Yep.
Rather than power trip question. I don't think so. I think they genuinely wanted to understand your train of thought and where it would go. If you do know the answer, then all well and good. It still reveals something about you. But if you didn't know the answer, then how would you excuse it? Something like that question.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. But yun nga, your answer is actually correct. If for the viewers who will Google it, what you get? Actually, manholes are correct are created circle for different reasons, and one of the reasons is because of the shape. It's the shape itself. I think circle is one of the shapes other than I believe triangle that if regardless of the way it will be put on a hole, it will not go down. Because if, for example, you will use square at a certain angle, if you will put it down with the diameter of the hole, it can go down, go through the hole. So circle, triangle is some of the shapes that will not go through through a manhole, and I think one of the reason as well is I think it's more easier to manufacture a circle.
Yes, it's easier to it's easier to make a hole in the ground than it is to make any other shape.
Yeah. Convenience.
Yes.
There you go. Eto, I think not for most, but for some hardcore call center people, this might be a very difficult questions to be asked, especially kung hopper kayo. So the question is, why did you leave your previous job? Ang sabi nga dito, ang sakit kasi magpaliwanag pag ikaw ayun, nang iwan. Meron po dito, dispute is the best reason. AKA magsinungaling ka. Sabi nga rin isa dito, syempre, plastic tayo, hindi natin sasabihin. And then, yung iba dito, at some point, mapapaisip ng ibang sagot. Ako, to be honest, again, this is a question that will really be driven on how you are as a person. Are you more on telling the truth? Or are you more on, finding a job because you need a job? And I understand, there are people who are breadwinners, whom their family are expected to provide for them, but then, again, there's the ethics and the value of it all. Because I know, in the Facebook page where I'm a part of, may mga tao nga na nagtatanong doon na, eto bang si kumpanya na to nagba-background check or hindi? They really are trying to investigate na, to assess whether or not pagka nakapasa ako sa interview, will I pass the background check? Kasi ngayon, I'm not sure right now with the pandemic, but in a way, most call center companies right now are being, at least the big ones, are being stringent. Careful in hiring who to hire right now. They avoid people who seems like hoppers. Kasi syempre, in an organization, why would you invest if aalis din naman agad yung tao? Sayang yung in-invest mo. Sayang yung revenue mo. So now, they are implementing talaga mga background check, character reference check, merong social media check. So if you're interested what is the social media check, I have actually another YouTube video wherein I discuss, hindi niyo ako makikita doon. Video lang siya, how social media can affect your employment, because there are companies and organizations, especially if it's a bank, wherein they will really do in-depth background check kahit yung mga social media, what you're posting on social media. If you're negative and whatnot, they can see it, and based on the result, they can actually terminate you, because in your employment contract with an organization, meron dun stipulation mo, and this is like mostly indicated in your employment contract, if not employment contract, sa policy ng organization, na pagka nagsinungaling ka in your interview, it can be grounds for termination kasi it's called dishonesty. So yung iba na natatakot kasi talagang naghahap, they're afraid on how to answer why did you leave your previous job, right? So again, it all depends on you or on who you are, pero ako suggestion ko, look for a reasonable answer. Reasonable for you, reasonable doon sa sinasabihan mo, that will not compromise the truth. So when I say that will not compromise the truth, there are really situations wherein you just have to leave your organization, your previous organization. Maybe because Yung sahod ay laging delayed. Hindi ka nababayaran ng night differential pay. You have been waiting for 3 months and it's still not yet paid. It is a valid reason for you to leave the organization, or it is possible that eto napaka prevalent to ha. Not because of an organization's fault, but sometimes it is really, let's say, SSS fault. So, SSS, yung iba umaalas kasi yung SSS contribution nila hindi pa updated, they have been checking it, and for 2 months, hindi pa. But here's the thing, if you will use SSS, just be careful. Kasi si SSS talaga, mabagal mag-reflect ng contribution. Something it takes months, plural form. So anyways, just be honest. Just tell them that you're looking for a better opportunity, or you're looking for a much more less stressful account. You can be honest, right? Kasi sometimes may mga company that their selling point for their account is it's less stressful, or it's just chat account, there's no voice. So understand the position you are applying and capitalize on the position as to why you are leaving your current job, right?
Meron akong tanong dyan. Meron akong follow-up question dyan. Kasi ako personally, pagka tinanong mo ako ng ganyang question na why are you leaving, I always think that honesty is the best answer. Just tell them right honestly. I don't agree with my boss, or I don't see eye to eye with my boss. Of course, you have to put it in a way na that is palatable, right? You're not gonna say nag-aaway kami ng boss ko. You're not gonna get hired that way.
Right.
But of course, I don't agree with the direction of the team. I'd like I'd like to go somewhere else that makes me happy or makes me fulfilled. My question is there a situation wherein honesty is not the best answer?
Okay. As a person that I am,
as an HR and asking this question to an interviewer.
Okay. So for me kasi, as an HR and as a person, one of my personal beliefs will always be values. And one of the value that I valued most is integrity. So if it's me who will answer the question, I will always tell the truth. But again, that's me. That's who I am. Kasi once I joined the organization, hindi ako yung nag-aalala, na nag-worry, na, hala, paano kung, they find out the truth, etc. And, hindi ako ganun tao. So if it's me, you're asking me, and me as an HR, then my answer is, no. Honesty will always be the best option to go. Especially if the one who will be interviewing you is a seasoned HR. Wow, seasoned. Kasi yung seasoned HR, they know when you're lying.
Yun nga eh. Feeling ko they're just asking it. Kasi unang-una pag tinanong niya sa'yo yun, makikita niya dun sa initial reaction mo pa lang, you haven't even answered the question, di ba? Sa initial reaction mo pa lang dun sa tanong, makikita niya na kung nag-iimbento ba ng sagot to? Naghahanap ba siya ng sagot?
Right.
Or mukha bang nasasagot niya naman na maayos yung tanong ko, 'di ba? It doesn't even I think yung palang kasi pag tinanong ka agad ng ganyan, it's more of you need to be able to explain it fast.
Yeah.
Kasi kitang-kita ka nung nagtatanong yan ng tanong na yan eh.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And the only reason for you to hide the true answer is hindi maganda yung sagot.
Yeah. Pero, okay. For those who would rather hide the truth. Wow, hide the truth. Because they can't handle the truth. Ika nga, ano yung suot kanina, you can't handle the truth. So you're not privy to know the information, and you're a gambler, you're willing to risk it all because you need the job. Diba? Then the way that you answer this question is
sa bagay.
By highlighting not your faults, but by not the reason why you want to leave the job, but by highlighting why you want to join the organization you're applying to. So that's how you will answer it. So the way that you will answer this question is why are you leaving your other job is I love my job. Wow, kahit hindi. I love my job. However, I like your organization more. And when you say you like the organization more, you need to investigate, you need to do your research, really find out why you like the organization. Maybe it's aligned with your values, it is aligned with what you want to do. It's possible, let's say you're doing now a contact center job, let's say in that's doing customer service, but you're applying now to a different organization that specialized, let's say in health support. So pwede mo sabihin, I'm doing customer service. I believe that customer service, wherever you will go, will always be the same. The main center of it all will always be people care. And in your organization, nothing speaks louder than the product that you are producing, that you're providing. And I want to join an organization that is centered towards my passion and goal in life. And that is you. See, that's how you will answer to divert, diversion to answer the question because you need the job. Pero again, as an HR, I'm telling you this, just be careful kasi pagka nag-background check, alam mo na sinungaling ka, ayan.
Pero siguro kung government spy ka rin naman talaga.
Ikalingan mo naman kung government spy ka.
You're not privy to the answer.
Correct. Okay.
Top secret yung answer.
Correct. Exactly. Top secret. Ito. I think this is the last question for the day. Diba? Yung tanong dito is, how will you sell me this pen? Wala akong pen.
Anong pen? Bakit puro sales question? Kasi,
karamihan ng mga call centers, international call centers, they outsource their call centers in the Philippines. Because, number one, yung mga Filipinos, we have a very neutral accent. We are not like, the other. So, we have a very neutral accent. Tapos, although, hopefully it is still true, we are more pasensyoso than most culture. And
not me.
not you. Hindi ikaw. Hindi ka talaga pang selling. But, we have that. And, marami tayong mga local companies who also does called out. Called out. Wala tayong pen eh.
Wala tayong pen.
How do you sell?
I can't sell yung pen. Nawawala yung pen. So,
Wait, wala tayong pen? Ano ba din yan?
ayun, mukhang pen.
Ito mukhang pen. Hindi yung pen. Kuha ka na pen doon. Or, alam ko na, sige, how will you sell this masking tape? Normally, it's the same eh. Kasi an interviewer, whatever they have ready in their arsenal, they will just ask you to sell it. Again, the purpose of the question is to see how you would sell
respond.
it.
Okay.
Diba? So,
I guess
kasi normally, just step they will ask you to do a situational parang role-playing. No? How will you sell? So, for example, I'll be the applicant, I'll be selling this to you, masking tape. So, I'll tell you, hi sir, what's your name?
Not interested.
Very good, thank you. Napakahirap nung ano.
Hindi. Pagka may lalapit sa akin sales talk, no.
Nangya ka.
No.
Sir.
Bibigyan mo ba sa akin yung pen?
Binibenta ko po siya. Pero pwede po natin pag-usapan kung anong magagawa ko sa presyo. Pero sir, kinakailangan niyo po itong masking tape. Nakikita ko may butas po yung t-shirt niyo. Magagamit nyo to, sir, pang cover ng butas.
Bakit masking tape yung ilalagay sa kailangan ko ng perdible, hindi.
Sir, for the meantime, maganda siya. Kasi, pag nilagay mo sa t-shirt mo, stripe, magmumukha lang siyang stripe design, sir, perfect sa design nyo. Diba? O nahawakan niyo na, perfect, I love it. Sir, touch mo, hinawakan niyo na, benta na yan. Benta, bayad.
Magkano ba to?
Para sa inyo, 100 pesos. Pag bibili kayo niya sa labas, magta-travel pa kayo, may COVID ngayon, delikado.
Trend.
O, ayan. 100 po siya. Maawa na po kayo, may pamilya po ako.
Naglalako lang.
Naglalako lang po ako. Ayan. Pero guys, you know, na-impress ka ba sa selling skills ko? Hinawakan mo, I guess na-impress ka.
No. No. Hindi ko bibilin to.
Hinawakan mo, sir, oh, grabe, na-use na yan.
Binili ko na nga to eh. Bibenta mo pa sa akin.
Touch mo, sir. Hinawakan niyo po, binenta ko po sa inyo. So, guys, the purpose of the question or the situation is to see how persistent you are. Kasi talagang makaka-experience ka pag nagbebenta ka, nag-hello ka pa lang, ang sagot sa'yo ay?
Not interested.
Yeah, or?
No comment.
So, yun.
No comment.
How will you handle such situation, such customer? How creative will you be to really get the rapport, the interest of the person? Okay lang kahit hindi mo mabenta. Basta, you know, just be again, going back to the earlier conversation, be passionate about it. Highlight, napakaganda po nitong masking tape na to. Those were the questions so far that I have seen. I guess, I think ito na lang, yung pinaka-last question that I have here with me, na ang tanong, para sa karamihan, this might be one of the most difficult question, which is, how much is your asking salary? Boom! Twilight. Twinkle in the eyes. How much nga ba is your asking salary? So, guys, the way to answer your question, the way to answer the question is not to race for the moon and the stars. So, when I say the moon and the stars, nakita nyo sa job street na yung salary range, ang pinaka-maximum, and you can see that, is let's say 50,000 and you're only earning 15,000, tapos pag tinanong kayo, how much is your asking salary, at ang hihingi nyo is 50,000, ibabaksak kayo noon. Kasi hindi kayo in line with reality. 'Di ba? Or ang ini-aim nyo lang, more than not, is salary. And for most recruiters, this is a no-no. Why? Kasi kung ang motivation nyo lang for applying in an organization is salary, then it will not prevent you from leaving their organization to another organization because of salary. So, mahihirapan na mag-invest sa inyo yung isang kumpanya. So, if you are asked how much is your asking salary, better to understand, well, first, do your homework, you list down all of what you are earning. So, when I say list down all of what you're earning, your basic pay, your allowances, your non-taxable, taxable allowances, ano ba yung mga non-monetary benefits that you have? VLSL, ano yung mga kino-convert to cash, ano yung mga monthly incentives that you have, and how much are you earning average in terms of your monthly incentive. Alamin nyo kung magkano yon. Tapos, i-average nyo yung monthly earning nyo. And from your monthly earning, the industry standards for salary increase ranges from 5% to, well, there are some organizations who is willing to give you 40% increase, to 50% increase. But again, it depends on your skills. It depends on how you were able to impress the recruiter, the line manager, the hiring manager, which is very, very important, so that they will give you that elusive salary. But again, if you're going to ask for something higher, you need to justify why. So for example, you will say, oh, I want a 30% increase.
Pero is it worth understanding kung magkano rin yung value like ng profession mo in the market?
Yeah.
Kasi 'di ba if you understand na okay, yung mga 3-year experience na ganito yung ginagawa, na ito yung ginagawa ko. Teka, binabayaran nila to ng mga 50,000. So, pagka tinanong ako ng asking na, ano yung asking mo? And then sinabi mong 50,000. I think babalik din naman sila sa'yo, right? Na bakit
Right.
50,000
Yeah.
samantalang 15,000 lang naman yung kinikita
So you
mo?
need to better justify.
And is it
Right?
is it justified to say na I understand yung market ng skills ko and I believe na ito yung value ng skills ko sa market.
But you need to justify further.
Mm-mm.
Saying that this is what I see in the market, so this is what I deserve is not going to fly.
Mm.
So you need to justify what is the difference of what you were doing sa 15,000 pesos
Mm-mm.
versus sa 50,000 pesos. So you can tell the interviewer, I'm asking for 50,000 pesos because the work and responsibility of what I will do in the job you're on the job I am applying for is 50,000 pesos compared to what I am doing now, which is just this. Compared to what I'm doing now, yours is far above, more complicated than what I was doing 15,000 pesos. So you need to justify that. Diba? Kahit ikaw, alam mo bakit ka deserving of the 50,000 pesos and why you're asking 50,000. Kasi if you're just gonna say, yan yung nasa market, yung nakikita ko, it's not gonna fly.
Really?
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Well,
imagine you are just one of the applicants. Remember I told you, in every company, a recruiter, there's a requirement for them to endorse at least 3 shortlisted candidates. And the other shortlisted candidates will not automatically have the same salary as you. They might be much more nearer the 50,000 pesos. They might have much more experience than you, that will justify the 50,000 pesos. So you need to sell who you are. Why I deserve that 50,000 pesos.
Pero ang ano ko lang doon, well, kasi yung pumapasok sa isip ko is yung mga paano yung malaki talagang discrepancy na ano. Kasi parang you would hear of these people, well, let's take for example yung developer.
Wala pong developer sa call center agent, sir.
Hindi, pero kasi meron talaga mga companies,
pero sige,
diba?
nag-expand na tayo, iba na industry.
Pero meron talaga mga companies that really underpay certain skilled workers.
Yep. And here's the thing.
Oo.
Then you would know you are applying in a good organization if the organization will understand why there's a large disparity or disparity in terms of your market value versus kinikita mo ngayon, which is true because here's the thing, and this is the reality of it. People who stays longer in an organization will have a much more smaller industry equivalent in terms of their monetary compared to someone who jumps from one company to another every year or every other year. Kasi, kung mag-i-stay ka sa kumpanya, magkano lang ba ang increase mo kada taon? 5% increase? 4% increase? Maswerte ka na kung meron kang 10% increase. And sometimes, pagka mapopromote ka, ang increase mo lang 10% or 12% increase. So, mabagal talaga yung pagtaas ng salary mo. Compared sa isang tao na tumatalon at ang hinihingi niya pagtalon niya,
doble.
15% increase. Sabihin mo na. Right? So, pag alis ng tao, tumataas yung salary niya compared sa ibang tao who would have stayed in our organization for 5 years, for 10 years. So, I applaud people who stay in the organization na mas mababa talaga yung salary nila. And if your HR, yung lilipatan nyo, is a season 1 and knows this, then that person would be able to justify why they will be giving you 50% increase, 70% increase if you will be hired in the organization. Yeah. Actually, for us, we experienced that in our company. The most recent one I experienced is we hired someone. The person is an English call center agent. Marunong siya mag-Spanish. And nagkaroon kami Spanish, nakapasa siya. So we offered the person, of course, a Spanish bilingual salary. So imagine mo yung disparity, di ba? Kasi ngayon, ang service niya is Spanish. Meron na siyang foreign language sa dati niyang company is English. So we were also asked na parang, teka lang, ba't mo binibigyan na ganyan kalaking increase? Na percentage, ang laki naman. Right? We were questioned, but then we were able to justify that no, it's the jump of the increase is because of the different in the responsibilities that they will be doing. Yeah? So, namatay na yung laptop ko, ang ibig sabihin.
Ako meron akong follow-up doon sa
I will
tanong
follow up.
mo.
Ano yun? This
Bakit
is candy,
yung mga-
by the way. Candy.
Bakit yung mga government umaabot ng mga 15-20 years?
Candy. Hindi naman po, depende po kung sino po siya naka-upo, sir. Grabe ka po, sir.
Ibang topic na yun sa ibang
topic
episode.
Po yun, sir. Hindi po kami sure ang ano dyan. Ang expert. Hindi po, candy. So anyways, guys, that's about it. I hope you... inapi ako ng aso ko. I hope you like, subscribe, this video. Please put possible questions that you would like us to answer in the next video. I'll be doing this in the next coming weeks. I think I like to focus more on how I can help people on top of just unboxing. Sa unboxing, para bang nag-worry ako, guys, dami COVID.
Sa channel ko na yun.
Oo. Kasi ang worry ko, pag nag-unbox, iyo COVID ka, di. Kaya ayoko. So, unboxing sa asawa ko. But, if you have any questions, specifically HR related, please do not hesitate to,
Comments box. Sa comments sa baba.
Yeah.
Palagay ng questions doon para sagot natin in the next. Masagot mo. Ako, extra lang ako dito eh.
Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year.